Hey, welcome to Real Estate Chats. My name's Steve Zahnd. Today we're going to talk about why now is the best time to upgrade your home versus back in January, February, March, April 2022 when interest rates were low and prices were high versus today where interest rates are higher and prices are lower. Before we dive into all of that, I just want to remind you to check out Zahnd Team on Instagram at the Zahnd Team. If you're watching on YouTube, please remember to hit that notification bell and subscribe button so the next time we release a video like this, you'll be notified. Okay, so before I dive into any further, I just want to give you the final outcome of what I came up with here. And if I get to the right screen, there we go. So my net analysis shows if you buy today versus back in January, February, March, April 2022, you'd be up about $128,000 and $750. So before I unpack all of that, I just want to show you the end result. So hopefully that gives you enough incentives to stick around and kind of go over why I got to this number and how I got to it. Okay, so flipping over to the next screen here, these are the key concerns that most of our customers have brought to our attention. They're concerned about interest rates continually going up. They're concerned about their monthly mortgage payment being higher today with interest rates being higher versus if they would have bought back when interest rates were lower. And those are two things we'll debunk right now as well. They ask, should I wait for interest rates to come back down? Our house price is going to keep falling. Should I wait for my existing home value to increase? Am I better off waiting or should I upgrade now? So I'm going to cover all of those questions and we're going to dive into an example that I've created for us to walk you through exactly all of these answers. Okay, so if you're ready, let's dive in. And so the first thing I want to address, our home price is going to continue falling. And I think that's just a good thing to kind of wrap our minds around because I think that's one of the main things that is holding people back from jumping into the real estate market or upgrading. And funny enough, it doesn't really have that much of an impact on you if you're upgrading, but I'm going to cover it anyways here. So I'm going to flip over to the screen and I got to get to the right one here. As you can see here, from April to August, the market fell almost 24%. And just from October to December, the market fell 1.96%. So things have started stabilizing. And if you actually look from November to December, the average sale price dropped just $3,000. There's other indicators in the marketplace I'm not going to get into now, but list price to sale price ratio, days of market, those have all stabilized. And actually, days of market are going down and list price sale price ratio is going up. So it's showing a lot more stability in the marketplace. I know I don't have a crystal ball, but from what I'm looking at here is that home prices have looked to stabilize. Okay, are interest rates continually to go up? Well, that's another great question. And if you watch my market updates, you can go into a lot more depth into those. But just high level speaking, with inflation coming down and the federal government potentially easing interest rate hikes, you can see that interest rates will no longer likely go up, will no longer go up as long as everything starts moving in the right direction, which it seems to be. Another indicator is that the 5-year bond yields have been dropping, which you can see just over this graph right here. And I'll just quickly show you for interest rates. You can see that interest rates have been falling over the last 3 months. So while interest rates are falling, and even right now, I just checked, you can get a mortgage for 4.59%. So it's even lower today than it was when I did my last check-in. So yes, mortgage rates are higher, but they are coming down, especially the fixed mortgage rates. You can actually get a cheaper fixed rate right now than you can get a variable rate. So hopefully that answers the question. Is the market still falling and our interest rates continue to go up? So now that we've kind of checked those boxes off, and I hope that ease your mind around those two things, let's take a look at two scenarios pretending that you're buying a home today, upgrading to your next home. We're going to pretend that you're upgrading to your next home, and I'm going to walk you through two scenarios right now. One that would have happened back in March of 2022, and one that would be happening today. So if you're ready to dive into the next part, let's begin. Okay, I'm excited to dive into this part, so I'm going to walk you through two scenarios. Scenario number one is you buying and selling in March of 2022 when prices were high and interest rates were low. Comparing that to what would happen today, selling when prices are low and interest rates are higher. So let's take a look at the scenarios and how did I get an extra $128,000 in your pocket? Okay, let's walk through it. So let's go over March 1st. So if we bought and sold back in March, let's assume your home is worth $900,000. Your home is worth 900. You have a mortgage of 400,000. The total cost to sell, legal fees, HST, and commissions is around 53,000. So your total cost to sell is 453,110. Net in your pocket, so the money you put in your pocket after everything's all said and done, is $466,000. Okay, so now we have $466,000 to go shopping with. As you can see here, here's the 466,000. You're going to buy a home for $1.3 million. This is you upgrading to your next home. So you're upgrading by 400 grand. From the sale, you're putting every single penny you have as much as possible back into the home. This is what this scenario is looking at. You're putting all the money back into the home. So you're going to put as much as you can, 390 grand into the home, which means you have about a $910,000 mortgage. You have a 2.5% interest rate because that was the interest rate back in March of 2022. 5-year mortgage, 5-year term, 30-year amortization. Your monthly payment is 3608. Okay, so that's scenario one. Let's keep going on scenario one. So your one-time cost to buy real estate, so to buy that $1.3 million home, you're going to be spending approximately $25,300, and that includes your land transfer tax of $22,000, inspection of $550, legal fees, title insurance, and then HST. So all that adds up to about $25,000. Okay, so that's scenario one. Scenario number two now is selling in today's market. So that $900,000 home is now 27% less. So you're looking at $657,000 for a sale price. You have that same mortgage of $400,000. Your total cost to sell are $439,381, which is now a $13,730 savings. So now you've saved about $13,000 in fees because the home's price was lower. I know this net equity number is much lower than the 446,000, but we're going to get to that and problem solve that in a little bit. I know this isn't stacking up to be a positive scenario right now, but it will be, trust me. Okay, so you've already saved $13,000 on your cost to sell. Okay, how about buying a property? So now we're going to take that $217,000 that you have. We're going to put as much possible towards the home. That's $949. So you're going to buy this $1.3 million home, which is now worth $949,000 because the market's dropped 27%. And you're going to put 21% down, which is about 200 grand. A total mortgage of 750 at today's interest rate of 4.54%. Same mortgage, 530 in 5 years, 30-year amortization, and your new mortgage payment is $3,798. So to upgrade to your next home is going to cost you $189 more per month than it would have if you would have upgraded back in March. Okay, so this doesn't sound like it's stacking up in our favor, but let me just keep going. If you can stomach an extra $189 a month to upgrade to your dream home, that might be worth it for you. Okay, so let's keep going. How about one-time cost to buy? So now that you're buying a home, instead of 1.3 million, it is 949,000. You're actually saving a substantial amount of money on land transfer tax. Approximately $7,020 is you're going to save on your one-time cost to buy. As you can see, there is a lot of savings that's included. Okay, now let me flip over to the next page, which summarizes it all and gets you back to that $128,000 net positive in your pocket. All right, let's begin. All right, I'm really excited to go over this part right here. I think this is going to blow your mind. So let's go over this about why now is the best time to upgrade. So here we go. I'm going to summarize one more time here. So here you can see there's our selling costs, and then there's our net equity. So our savings on selling is $13,729. And on the buying side, you started with 446,000, you bought for 1.3, you put a down payment on 390, you had one-time closing costs of 25,300. So that leaves about $31,000 left over for you to put in your pocket, and your monthly mortgage commitment of 3,600. On today's side, you had $217,000 selling for after to buy after you sold. You had a mortgage, you had a purchase price of 950. You put 200 down. You had $18,000 of closing costs, and that leaves you with about $58 net in your pocket after everything's all said and done, with a mortgage payment of 3,798. As you can see, we saved about $13,800 on the sales side. We saved about $7,000 on the buy side. And then here we have approximately $11,300 in extra mortgage payments over 5 years. So that's 189 times 60 months. There it is. So when we add this all together, you're up about $10,000 and you got some extra cash in your pocket. I wanted to go over this about the cash in your pocket because it's going to be important for the information below. And this is where the game really changes down here. Okay, so let's take a look. So you started out with $500,000 in March, $900,000 home value minus your mortgage is 500 grand. And today you're starting out with 257, $657,000 minus your mortgage, 257. But what about your ending equity? Okay. So back in March, you would have bought for 1.3, you would have had a mortgage of 910, you had cash on hand at 31,000, which means that you had a net equity of 421,599. Today, you would buy a house for 949, which is the same house, just 27% less. You have a mortgage of 750, cash on hand 58. Total net equity at the end of it all is $200,000. Okay. But now you're like, well, Steve, this doesn't make any sense. I have more money on scenario A than scenario B. Not so fast. You bought in March in 2022, and we know that the market dropped 27%. So if we equalize that to today's value, you would have lost $351,000 from March to today. And that would have put you in a net equity situation of $70,000 in your pocket versus a $200,000 equity situation today. So because you waited and because you upgraded now versus back then, you lost less money because you didn't buy the higher value home that dropped in value faster than your lower priced home. On top of that, you also put an extra $10,000 in savings in fees and land transfer taxes. So you're actually up $128,000 if we equalized everything to today's value. On the flip side, if we equalize everything back to March of 2022's values, so hypothetically we're thinking, okay, if I bought today, in 5 years' time, I'm estimating that the market's going to recover and I'll be back to peak pricing. So that's equalized back to peak values. So we're going to add $351,000 worth of equity to your home, which brings you up to $550,000 of net equity versus the $421,000. Because in this scenario, you would have been at 1.3, you would have dropped down to the minus 371, which is the 949, and then you would have swung back up back to the peak. So your net equity would be 421. In this scenario here, you started at 949, you bought low, and then you equitied up back to the peak, which added 351,000. So as you can see, playing this all out, if you decide to upgrade now when interest rates are higher, but purchase prices are lower, you are doing yourself a huge favor, and there is a great opportunity for you. There's inventory on the market. There's little competition in the market as well. The competition is starting to heat up a little bit. You can already start seeing some multiple offer situations, but not even close to what we had back in January, February, March, April. The market has opened up, and you've put yourself in a position where you can add an extra $128,000 in your pocket if you decide to upgrade now. All right, so checking my notes here. Interest rates are higher now. Yeah, we covered that. Will my monthly payment be higher now? Yes, we covered that. It will be higher based on the scenario I went over. Should I wait for interest rates to come back down? Okay, this one I want to tackle a little bit with you as well. And the answer is no. You don't want to wait for interest rates to come back down, because if interest rates come back down, that's going to increase affordability for more people. And when you have more money chasing fewer goods, prices will increase and so will competition. So if you're trying to avoid competition, you're trying to maximize that net equity swing, you got to get in before the interest rates go down, because the prices are going to get out of control as well as the competition gets out of control. We've already saw that in 2017, end of 2016, at the end of 2021, and at the beginning of 2022. You really don't want to put yourself in that situation if you want to be able to buy what you want, not fear of having a homeless situation where you sell your home and then you can't find one, or you sell your home and then you have to pay way more than you expected for your next home. This market is definitely a lot nicer to buyers and sellers than the previous one was. So I would not wait for interest rates to come back down. Our home price is going to keep falling. I think we checked that box off earlier on the video. Shouldn't I wait for my existing home's value to increase? As you can see, if your existing home's value is going to increase, likely the one you're going to be buying is going to be increasing as well. And as you can see from the scenario that you could put enough money in your pocket today, there's no reason to wait to wait for your home to be more valuable, so just the other home is more valuable. So just for example, if you had a $900,000 house, it went up 10% in value, that's $90,000 in value. A $1.3 million goes up 10%, that's $130,000. You're just now again behind 40 grand. So I don't believe that is the right strategy there. Am I better off waiting to upgrade, or should I do it now? Well, I hope the video answered that for you. If you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to reach out to the Zahnd team. There's a link in our bio on our Instagram page. You can go to zahndteam.ca. schedule a call with one of our team, and we'll be excited to get you to that next home that you're looking for. Again, my name is Steve. Thanks for joining me for talking about real estate, and I look forward to our next chat.